Hey family, so I'm in the middle of reading Exodus. I'm on chapter 12 and I was reading from I was just reading it. And as I was reading this, I started to think about when God was about to go and destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. And remember when Abraham started asking the Lord, if there was, 50 people there, would you destroy it? And the Lord was like, no, stuff like that. So I wanted to read how I came to this, and was just like, wow, like God really keeps his promises. Like, what I'm learning is that God does not lie. He doesn't lie. His word does not come back to him void. He does not lie. And this one, I just pray that this helps, whoever's listening and watching. Okay, so I'm starting at in Exodus 12, verse 23 to 24 to start off. So it says, "For the Lord will pass through the land to strike down the Egyptians. But when he sees the blood on the top and side of the doorframe, the Lord will pass over your home. He will not permit his death angel to enter your house, and strike you down. Remember, these instructions are a permanent law that you and your descendants must observe forever." Right? So I'm going to go down to 26. "Then your children will ask, 'What does this ceremony mean?' And you will reply, 'It is the Passover sacrifice to the Lord. For he passes over the houses of the Israelites in Egypt. And though he struck the Egyptians, he spared our families. When Moses had finished speaking, all the people bowed down to the ground and worshipped him." Like, after I read that, I said, whoa. It just made me remember what Abraham had, the conversation that Abraham had with Jesus. And I just was like, okay, let me go there and see about that. It's so funny because I'm just realizing that Genesis 18, so we're starting at Genesis 18, and the verse is 23. And the verse that I just read from Exodus was 23. I feel like that's crazy. And that's just, it just goes along so well. So here we go. So I'm finna read verse 23 in Genesis. So Genesis 18 verses 23. Bear with me. Okay. And it says, "Abraham approached him and said, 'Will you sweep away both the righteous and the wicked? Suppose you find 50 righteous people living there in the city. Will you still sweep it away and not spare it for their sakes? Surely you wouldn't do such a thing, destroying the righteous along with the wicked. Why? You would be treating the righteous and the wicked exactly the same. Surely you wouldn't do that. Should not the judge of all the earth do what is right?'" Right? And then God replied, he said, and the Lord replied, "If I find 50 righteous people in Sodom, I will spare the entire city of their sake. It made so much sense, because now even reading that now, even in Sodom and Gomorrah, God spared. It was Lot. I just looked it up. It was Lot and his wife and his children. And Lot's wife is the one who looked back and was turned into a pillar of salt for looking back. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that. And as I was reading, so when I was reading in Exodus, that came about, and I was just like, whoa, that is like, God does not lie. He didn't lie. Like, he's really about his business. He really is. He's truthful. And I mean, just reading that, like, he literally gave the Israelites in Egypt a specific duty to do, to put the blood on their posts, to show that they, were a part of, that they weren't a part of Egypt, And the more that I'm learning, I'm still learning everything, but I just thought that was just really beautiful to see that, that's why it's so beautiful. I just thank God, because if I was just like, I was just reading the, the New Testament, and I would go to the Old Testament from time to time. But to start from the beginning and working my way through, I'm seeing God's character in all of it. He's not a liar. I mean, he did what he said he was going to do, and it's just beautiful. And I just thank God, because, I'm just like, man, like, he really did not lie. He didn't lie. Like, he saved them. He gave them an instruction to do, and they did it, But yeah, if y'all, I just encourage y'all to just, if you haven't, just start, like, read from Genesis on, just read from Genesis, and then, work your way to the New Testament, especially if you've been reading the New Testament your whole life. Like, I really have been reading the New Testament my whole life. Like, I've always would start at the Gospels and then work my way down. But now it's like, no, like, let me read it from the beginning. Like, let me start over and try to read the whole Bible. Slowly, because I tried to, when I was first starting, I was trying to read the word, just read it, but God was like, no, he was already stopping me right then and there, and I've just been learning so much, and I'm just, I am kind of bragging, because it's like, whoa, but it's more so I'm giving all the glory, all the honor to the Lord as I'm bragging. Not bragging, but I'm just happy, and I don't know, I just want to share what I'm learning, and it's just beautiful to see that, even though, I might not know every single thing, I might not get every single thing right, but the fact that God is speaking to me, and he's putting puzzle pieces together as I'm reading, to help me connect to help me understand, like, okay, like, even though Abraham was talking about, in that moment, was talking about Sodom and Gomorrah in that moment, it also came along with the Israelites in Egypt. It's just beautiful. Okay, I'm about to go and read again, but I just wanted to share that. I pray that this was helpful to someone, to anyone. This was definitely helpful for me. And I mean, it's just beautiful to see that, God, he speaks, and it's true. The word of God is alive and active. It's alive and active. It's alive. Like, when you read it, you're gonna, like, I'm really imagining myself there with them. And it's just been so beautiful. It's just, I don't know. Okay, I'm gone. But I pray this helped, so, yeah. Okay, anyway. Peace out. Love you guys. Bye.